Hi class. I've had a couple students send me some questions about the presentation that is due next Sunday. We are currently in our third week of class, so that means that the presentation would be due a week from this Sunday. And I'm thinking this as I say it, so I don't say it incorrectly. Wanted to just answer those questions, and as you can see, I have open the directions for the long-term presentation. And at first, I think I had a rubric there that showed long-term research paper rubric, and I took it out because a student asked me if there was a paper due as well, and no, there is not a paper due. So what you have due a week from this Sunday is you are to be an investigator, a reporter, do some sort of video with you on camera at some point. Now, for instance, I'm on camera and I'm using Screen-O-Matic. So I can use PowerPoints, and a lot of times don't even include my picture on camera, but I thought I would for those, especially online students that I've never met in person. So, but what you need to do is you're gonna choose a serial killer or a mass murderer that is not in the mainstream right here. You need to research, talk to law enforcement, talk to the public about this person. So it can just be anybody that you've heard of in your local area. You can do some research, do some Googling, as long as it's not somebody that's within your book or any videos that we have done. And I would like someone that, even I'm not familiar with. So I want you to go into the public, find out what you can about this killer. I want you to you can use whatever sources you need to find some in-depth on this person. You can use the internet in any way. You can Google, you can look for podcasts, you can find a blog or a page. I really don't want, for probably the first time for those who know me, I don't want you to use empirical research. This is not a peer-reviewed assignment. And it actually says, I do not want you to use peer-reviewed research. So I don't want you to use journal articles off the King website. I want you to do whatever you can to find out some information on this person, like even if you could call and speak to the family. Now that's, I would be very surprised if you did that. And I know I spoke to one student who was going to try to talk to the actually offender in prison, which is a great idea. I'm just not sure you have a lot of time to do that within just this 5 weeks and actually 4 weeks to get it done. But I just want you to do anything you can. I want you to be creative. I want you to be original. I want you to just think about it. So, try to find, if at all possible, information on their childhood, their parents, their type of home life, the environment, friends, their schooling, any abuse that may have been reported, any mental illness they might have been diagnosed with. Just really any red flags that you find that possibly if we had known those when they were a child, we could have predicted it. Now, really quickly, I want to say on that, I think that's coming up in some of the discussions this week, is we really can never predict a serial killer. We might know someone is suffering from child abuse. We might know that they have been diagnosed with a mental illness. They might even be showing some of those indicators with animal cruelty or even violence as a young child. But you go back later and really look at that. If you see that now, what happens is we try to intervene, right? We try to get them assistance, but we're not thinking, oh, they're the next serial killer, or they're going to end up killing their family. So we don't know if we've stopped it or not, if they don't do it. So so it's very hard to say that we have predicted or stopped someone because we have chosen that. But let's see right here. Do you think they were disorganized or organized? After you find all this and report it in any way you want, like I said, just make sure at the end of your report you have a discussion and conclusion. So you just really sum it all up. Sorry about that. So, as I was saying, after you have done your complete report and you've reported all this information while you're on the video, then at the very end, you just sum up what you said, your discussion, and just your opinion of what the research, what all that information tells you about that person. Do you think that all that information really gave you some indication that they would have done it if you had known this prior to? And just finish it up with your opinion. Why do you think this killer turned to violence? What did you find in your research to support your view? If you wanted to say, I really could see that at the age of 5 when he shot a bird out of the tree, that I just knew he was going to be a serial killer. Well, what in research tells you that? So it's okay to say that, but then I want you to be able to say, well, from what I have read in the class so far, we know that killing a bird could lead to serial killing. Okay, do you think this person could have been stopped? Do you, if all of this had been known? I want your opinion. And as I say at the end, make sure you include your references. So what I'm talking about, if you talk to people, you have to include it as a personal communication according to APA. You can check the APA site. You can also check Purdue OWL and find out exactly how to do that personal communication, and then submit it as a separate document. I don't want you to stand there on the video and say, my references are da-da-da-da-da. I want you to actually put it on a piece of paper, and you can submit it along with this presentation. I think I've given you 2 or 3 options to submit, so that's why you can submit that document along with it. Again, there is no research paper. There is no paper, no documentation that you need to turn in but that reference section. So if you have any questions on this, please feel free to send me an email or post it, as I said. And I'll just go ahead and, since I've said this so many times, let's look up here. This is where it is. When you go into the discussion board, right up here where it says ask your instructor, and looky there, I have one. So when you go in here and you can post your question, as Robert did right here, I can answer this. Make a biography. Well, no, I'm not. So I can answer that right now on the video. He's asking, are you basically wanting us to write a fake biography on a made-up serial killer or an actual serial killer without mentioning who they are to see if anyone else can figure out the name? Well, that's a pretty good idea. So I think what I said in that assignment was, I just want you to write a biography of a serial killer. As we said, there's really no typical serial killer. It could be the guy next door. So I want you to do a biography, write it up as what you would perceive that serial killer to be. So I don't want you to use an actual serial killer that's already out there. I want you to take all of the information that you have to such far in this class about what makes a serial killer and write a biography on exactly the person, what they would have to go through as a child. A serial killer probably has experienced child abuse in their home. They could possibly have not experienced child abuse and have been adopted as a child but didn't receive that nurturing for an extended period of time. It's just a writing, and I don't like the word fake because it's not a fake biography. It's a real biography on what a serial killer would look like to you. So don't do it on someone else. But what I'll do is here, when you post this right here, I can go in here and reply to Robert, and everybody else can benefit from the same question. So now if you have a question that's more personal about your own work or about a grade, and again, I'm always glad to go over those grades with you or talk to you about them in any way, shoot me an email. Feel free to give me a call. Email is probably the easiest, only during these summer months. My husband and I do a little traveling, and that's why I'm teaching the classes online this summer so that I can do that. But feel free to always, you're welcome to text me, and I'll answer it as soon as possible. Or I'll even tell you in the text, let me answer that in the email, because it could be a little bit more extensive. And also, too, I really like doing these little short clips. And I think I'm going to do more of those I wish I had done them for week 1 and 2, but I'm definitely going to do it for 3, 4, and 5, where I'm just going to summarize what we talked about and what you did in your discussions and your assignments, instead of putting it up there in these huge announcements. So any questions, everybody, please let me know. Any questions on the presentation, I'll be more than happy to answer. Hope everyone has a wonderful weekend.